the time the government was losing employees to the booming hotel sector, they decided to give civil servants a significant increase. Many cite this as one of the major reasons we are not able to weather the recession properly. Should the government have given a smaller salary increase or none at all? You will have 2 minutes to answer this question.
This actually question is a very interesting question, and the response is going to be a little interesting as well. The issue is not about pay increase. The issue has to do with inflation. What the United Front administration did, they presided over runaway inflation. I've actually spoken to a number of ministers of government regarding this. In 1 year, we had inflation in excess of 16%. So when you have inflation of that magnitude, it means that the people's purchasing power has declined by 16%. So in order for government to ensure that the citizens, civil servants, have the same purchasing power, government would have to increase the civil servants' pay by at least 16% so they would have the same purchasing power. The issue has nothing to do with how much of a pay increase is awarded to civil servants. The issue has a lot more to do with how the government managed the economy to ensure that we did not have runaway inflation. So what we had was runaway inflation. If the government was able to keep inflation under control, let's assume that we had an inflation of 5% and government had given the civil servants a 12% increase. The civil servants would have gotten a 2% increase over their purchasing power up to that point. But what we have is a situation where we've had unprecedented inflation in excess of probably 30 or 40%. So to give the civil servants a pay increase of less than 40% is not being fair to them. So the short answer is the civil servants are still underpaid when one is to factor in the cost of inflation. But can we afford to pay the civil servants the right pay now? We can't. It would cripple the economy. The government managed the economy in a very, very irresponsible way, which has led us to where we are.
Thank you. We'll now go over to Chelsea, who will ask you another question.
Students at the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School basically have two choices when it comes to lunch. They can bring it from home, which is not always possible and offers a cold meal, or they can purchase it from nearby vendors, which can prove to be quite expensive for their parents. As a minister, would you propose the construction of a cafeteria for the ALHCS, and how would you resolve this with the surrounding food vendors who have come to rely on the patronage of the students? You have 2 minutes to answer this question.
Yes, this is something that I know has been discussed for quite some time. As a nation, we must be concerned about the health of our young people. So first and foremost, one of the things that's critical is nutrition. And if you were to look at most of the food vans and take an inventory of what they sell, most of what they sell is not good for young people. What would be good is for the school to have a cafeteria, and for that cafeteria to be subsidized in small measure by the government. But students should be able to purchase their lunch, which should be a balanced meal at school. The other advantage that you have for doing that is you're able to keep the school children in a confined area within the school compounds. But I think the whole issue of who's going to pay for it becomes problematic, because government cannot burden itself with all of the costs associated with feeding the children. But if you look at the health fallout, if our young people's nutritional needs aren't adequately met, then we have other health issues, we have other productivity issues, we have other learning issues, which are in fact very complex issues to deal with. Because most of the young people, after getting the sweet sodas, etc., at lunchtime, and they go back in the classroom, they have this sugar rush, and they go on this high, and then you just collapse after half an hour, 45 minutes in the classroom. So it is something that we need to look at clearly.